When a community loses such an important citizen as Niagara region as a whole really did just last week, 91-year-old Wilma Morrison losing her battle to COVID-19, it's important we take a moment to recognize her accomplishments and speak to some of those that knew her well. Let's welcome Reverend Lois Dix from the Nathaniel Dett chapter of the chapel, I should say, of the British Methodist Episcopal Church in Niagara Falls. Lois, thanks for joining us today. And our condolences. I know how close you were to Wilma. I understand that when you first took the job as the Reverend of the Nathaniel Dett Chapel, you had to pass Wilma's test. What was that like?
We hit it off really well at the beginning, and she was just so happy to have somebody new coming in that had a bit of a spark, that wanted to carry on the work, not just the church service work, but the entire work of the church. So I moved into the parsonage. I live next door to the church, and I can't imagine being anywhere else.
As much as Wilma Morrison was a guardian, a steward for the BME Church in Niagara Falls, she was also the same for Black history in the entire Niagara region, if not the entire country.
Yes, and I learned more in my first year here about Black history in the Niagara region than I ever did in school. I didn't even realize that there was Black slavery in this area, but she certainly made sure I knew quick. And what happened, she wasn't well a couple of years ago, and I had to take over doing the presentations to the tour bus. She had done it right up until she was about 89 years old, and she had a stint in hospital, and I had to cover all the tour buses, and I was so afraid that I would say something wrong or miss something, because she had it down pat.
When was the last time that you spoke to Wilma?
The day after she went in hospital, I spoke with her on the phone, and Tuesday of last week, the chaplain arranged to take a phone in and put it on speaker. And I was able Tuesday afternoon to pray and share some scripture with Wilma and pronounce a blessing on her. And then she was gone on Thursday.
What was her mood like in the weeks leading up to that moment?
Well, we thought there was a bit of a rally there. We were getting hopeful, for a bit, but it didn't last long. But she was ready, I think.
Lois, who does she leave behind? And also looking at the future of, making sure that Black history is documented in the Niagara region, who takes that torch?
Right now, I've got the torch. And I'm hoping that when Wilma's things are checked through and they're able to get the things out of her room, that she'll have some notes that I can use and put something in writing.
Is the church planning a celebration of her life sometime in the future once social distancing and physical distancing regulations are lifted?
Oh, sure. I suggested we rent the convention hall and have a big one, but I don't know where it'll be, but there definitely will be one. But our church will only hold 90 people if they're skinny. So I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that. So the seating capacity is about 80, and but we will have a celebration that is as elegant and as she was, and worthy of such a wonderful woman.
You talk about size there, and I'm going to mention how small Wilma was in stature, but how strong her personality was in the few times that I had a chance to sit down and interview her. She was just so eloquent in the way she spoke, and just so forceful as well. Anything that you can say to sum up her personality in general?
Well, she was a large dynamo for such a small person. When she put her mind to something, it stayed there, and she set out to accomplish and accomplished what she set out to do.
Well, Reverend Lois Dix, please accept our condolences. I know how close you were to Wilma Morrison, and how difficult a time this is for you.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll be back with more in a moment.